Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Tuesday, giving you guys some more podcasting for the streets. Show notes, we will not have any more regular episodes for the rest of the week. I know we're doing Ballsy Sports Wednesday. And we'll probably do Nerd Off either Friday or Saturday. We're still figuring out the exact time for that. So premium people, you guys got 2 more episodes at least to look forward to. And I do plan on seeing a movie Thursday, so you got that as well. The official weapon of the show is
The folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
Bullet ball.
And Bullet Ball Extreme. I also wanted to say shout out to all of y'all for the ones who followed us on social media for Guess the Race. Those who are sharing it. Obviously, we're building up a catalog. I think there's 1 new clip per day. We'll see, how many days we're able to do, but we have quite a few stocked up. We appreciate everybody that leaves comments, that shares it, that likes it, that puts it in their stories on Instagram, stuff like that. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all.
We do.
This is one of those things we're trying to get it off the ground, and hopefully as we build up a catalog, more and more people will come in and hop on the party. I'm still putting the links in the show notes for now. Eventually, show notes will go back to the normal thing, but if you could give us a follow, it really would be helpful on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All right, that's it for my show note stuff. Karen, do you have any banter? I don't think I have any either. Let me see. Do I have any? Oh wait, yeah, I do have some banter, but it's not funny.
Can we talk?
I meant this one. Do you have any
Banter. Talk to me.
Do you have any
Banter. Talk to me.
Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter?
I do.
Talk to me. Banter. Talk to me.
Do you have any banter?
I do.
Banter.
I do.
All right, banter time. I only have a real quick thought. You remember all that stuff people were talking about how to fix the NBA, and it was they shoot too many threes, they do this, they do that. This is why the ratings are down. You had hockey people coming on TV talking about the players don't play hard, blaming the All-Star game, load management. It was every fucking reason to just say I don't watch these black people play basketball. And I said, to me, it will always be a racial issue.
Yes, particularly with the NBA. Yes,
you'll never be able to separate it. And and I don't give a fuck that I can't prove it in a court of law. I'm black in America. I've lived here my whole life. I'm from the South. I know when some shit is just racially coded, and I don't care if you're a well-meaning person who accidentally fell into the trap. Then this is how people become a useful tool of white supremacy. I'm not saying it's the same thing as like voting for Trump, but it's a big ass tale of like, oh, okay, you really giving people too much credit. There was, and I brought up at the time, there's a lot more competition for streaming. Games aren't in centralized locations. I brought up all the reasons that ratings would be down around that time, and how even though NFL ratings had tricked down a little bit, nobody brought it up.
all the sports.
And the last straw for me, and this is when it happens every year with the NBA, but the biggest racial dog whistle we have is they always have this part of the season where it's All-Star game, which is the lowest part of the NBA season, is when it comes to like media and fan enjoyment and talking shit. That's because it's like right around the Super Bowl, which is the biggest thing happening in football every year.
Right.
And then here comes the All-Star game, which is mostly just bullshit. To me, you shouldn't be comparing the All-Star game to the Super Bowl, because it's like you should be comparing it to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
you should be comparing it to
y'all don't take that shit seriously.
No one gives a fuck about that. Okay, all right, okay, fine. But these people cooked, and I said, okay, I know what racism is, and I don't need you to like agree with me to understand that I think y'all are being at least racially complicit, right? Karen, NBA ratings for the playoffs are at a 25-year high.
It's through the roof. Yeah, everybody's watching them. Everybody's watching them.
These are the same teams that didn't change anything through the season. They're not playing different. The threes aren't being shot less. It's not just, as always with the NBA, which has been my whole life. When it's playoff time, people tend to tune in right around a month or two before playoff time, right after the All-Star break, and then they kind of ride it all the way to championship, right? And if the championship is a compelling matchup, then it'll be even higher in the finals. But my point being, we see that. Did you know that NHL ratings are down 22%?
Yeah, all the sports, yeah.
But NHL ratings, it's the playoffs for them too.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs right now.
Why are we not seeing a constant deluge of reporters, fans, and media
complaining
and
about that?
TV analysts trying to, quote unquote, fix hockey?
Yeah, they don't do it with football.
Where is that at? Oh, there's too many slap shots. There's too many icing penalties.
There's too many games.
There's not enough fighting. Why the fuck are we not trying to fix it? Why are we not assuming something's wrong? When the NFL's ratings are down, we don't try to fix them. Baseball ratings are down, nobody got shit to say. It's only the NBA. Even when college basketball ratings are down, no one's trying to fix it as a TV product.
No.
They're just like, oh, that's a shame. In NBA, the only one where it's like, well, it's because these lazy blacks don't play hard and they shoot too many threes and they're not fighting and they're not doing what I want to see them do all the time. I'd watch that.
No, you wouldn't. Stop lying.
All I'm saying is, like, I called this when it happened, and all I have to do is sit back and wait, because brighter minds than me have tried to approach this topic as if it's not just I'm getting old and I have more things and different things to do, and now that I'm 50, I don't want to sit around and watch NBA basketball until 1 o'clock in the morning like I used to when I was 28 and I first started covering sports.
Right.
So that must be the product. It can't possibly just be me.
Right.
It can't be I have kids. It can't be that I like going to bed at 10.
More
It can't be
responsibilities,
that, you know, what I have different priorities. It can't be any of that. It can't be my friends have other shit to do than just watch basketball, so we don't talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we used to go to the bars.
It's always something else. And I'm like, we're getting older, you know, and I love getting older. I talk, you know, I listen to people my age who cover sports, and they sound like older people now. Oh man, the game started at 10. That's a thing you say because you're older. That's not the NBA's fault, because the game was starting at 10:30 every year.
Yes, it was.
Your whole fucking life.
Yes, sir. I would just have more energy to watch the games. Now I'm like,
Now you old.
Yes, sir.
And you blaming the NBA for that shit. But you was old then. You was young then. The games was the same. So anyway, my point is, I was right. I just wanted to take some time. You know me. I love to toot my own horn when it comes to being right, and so I gotta play it.
Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Rob is right. Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Yeah, Rob is right. Whoop, what was that again? Oh yeah, Rob was right. Rob was right.
All right, let's get into some politics.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you, fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
All right, politics. Student loans is bike.
You know what? I said it when he got in office, and you know, while everybody, you know, was had excuses and making everything up, Biden and were really, really hard, and they actually could have got more if it hadn't been for the courts, and everybody complain, it's not enough. It's like, well, it's some relief, and for some people, this actually is gonna make a big difference because a lot of people complained about that. And then my thing was, don't you think that they're gonna go after this because it does not benefit them? Because the thing about, put it like this, the goal is slavery, and if you're in debt for these student loans, there's a form of slavery, financial slavery. And they don't want people to have disposable income. They actually don't. They don't want you to be able to make choices and have all these freedoms and rights, because when you do, you actually pay attention to what's happening and going on. But when you don't, you're so stressed and so worried about where you're going to get your next dollar that you don't really pay attention to the shit that's happening around you as much as you should.
It's funny that the Department of Education can't do anything else. They stripping the Department of Education of all other funding and responsibilities and tasks. Anything that comes to like actually educating people, they don't want to do.
No.
They want to take that away. But collecting the student debt that's in arrears that many people have been living without paying for the last few years without penalty, and saying we're going to start collecting this on the 5th of May, meaning you got 2 weeks, 2 weeks basically. Funny they got the resources for that though, right? Mm-hmm. They can fuck your credit up. They no problem. That's just hitting a button.
Right, and it's one of the things where it upsets me and it really hurts my heart, because it's going to be a lot of people that have become accustomed to not having this bill, and depend on how your loans were set up and depend on how large your loans are. It's literally a whole ass house payment and car payment combined monthly. You know what I'm saying? For some people, it's literally your whole paycheck, monthly. And
they can garnish your wages.
Right. So
take it right out the check. So
if they take it right out your check, what do you have to live off of?
Yep.
And it's one of those things where this is how I feel about it, particularly with them attacking education and all these things. A lot of our education system, this is just me talking for me. A lot of the education systems were just designed to get people into the workforce. We want you to be able to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and be able to just read basic shit. We actually don't want you to actually analyze shit. We want you to be sheep. We don't want you to think and actually challenge us when we do shit that actually doesn't benefit you. And this is why they're attacking colleges and universities, because a lot of people, I know for me, learned a lot about the world and how it functions and all that shit when you actually go off to college, because you're away from your parents. Particularly if you stay on campus, you're away from your parents for the first time. You're realizing things for the first time. You're realizing that the world doesn't rotate around you, revolve around you, and it's more to these things than just you. And the biggest part, particularly for a lot of white people, depending on what university you go to, you're actually going to be around people that aren't white, that you interact with and things like that, might become friends with, become, intimate with, all types of things. And a lot of these things go against white supremacy. And so, they are like, no, we want to strip schools. We don't want people thinking for themselves. We want people to have all these kids, because studies and statistics have shown, particularly in a lot of rural areas where people are less educated, they have more children on the average. Particularly women. Once women are educated and they learn about their bodies and what they can do, they have all these freedoms and rights, they are less likely to have children. If they have children, they don't have a lot of children. And so the thing is, they want you strapped, particularly women, they want you strapped and tied down to children, which means you're strapped and tied down to a man, which means you don't have any choices, which means you don't have any decisions that you can make on your own without the consultation of a man, and these are things that were on the ballot. When we were talking about these things and we were fussing and raving about who to vote for and all that stuff, I heard all types of excuses. I heard yamming, whatever excuse that your family member, your loved ones came up with. It in my mind, I was like, okay, now y'all fucking around, and nobody's gonna like the consequences of these actions as a totality. And this is just the beginning. I hope people really understand that this is just the tip of the iceberg of the bullshit that they're going to do. And you know what's going to tell me if the populace is sick and tired, 2026. That's what's going to tell me when it's time to vote for midterms. That's what's going to tell me all this crying, all this flopping, all this yelling, and do something people, all them people. I don't want to hear shit. I want actions. Actions speak louder than words. I don't care what's coming out of your mouth. Are you going to get your ass out there and vote? You're complaining, vote. And so that's what is going to dictate to me if the suffering has been enough. If it doesn't change, I was like, well, I guess it ain't been enough suffering for people to actually make the decisions that they need to make to benefit society as a whole. And you are a part of society, but we are so self-centered and me and mine and nobody else that we don't actually give a fuck about what's happening to other people. Hey, dog, I paid my student loans off, but you know what? I want everybody else to get out of theirs. Like I'm not that self-centered that I was like, well, I had to pay mine. Yes, I did, but it was a burden and it was hard to do. And so I'm like, I don't want people to have to suffer, and take years and decades to pay these loans off.
So they can also take money from your tax return or hold your tax return as well. Roughly 5.3 million borrowers are currently in default on their federal student loans. An additional 4 million are considered at risk with their accounts more than 90 days past due. People brought up how disproportionately black people have student loans because we don't have access to generational wealth. So a lot of us have to take out loans, especially if you're like first generation college and all this stuff. Is everything you said, I completely co-sign. Go ahead.
I'm about to say, and it's very, very frustrating because particularly the younger generation and people my age and older, they have a tendency to look down on them. But this generation has it really, really hard, and it's really, really fucked up for them. And we can't gloss across the things that they're living through and dealing with and act like it's not a big thing and you should just work hard. It's not that simple. They went to school. They did what they were told to do. Got in all this debt and get out in the workforce and they want to pay you $12.50 an hour and don't even want to make you a goddamn manager, but I have a fucking PhD. Tell me how that makes sense. And shit like that. Like is they're getting screwed over, and that's, in my opinion, that's why a lot of them get to the point where they don't care. And I tell you funny, a lot of this money they are never getting back because some of these people have already decided, bitch, I ain't got it. I can't give it to you. I don't know what to tell you. I guess I'll just die and I'll just be in debt forever.
Yeah, well, it's not even just like you say it almost like it's defiant, but they not gonna have it. It's not gonna be, I got an attitude and I don't feel like paying you. And this government is going to be punitive. So whatever you do to live, you got a job, we're taking money out of the check before you can do shit anyway. You were supposed to get a tax return, well now you don't. So it's not just I ain't got it. They're taking it. And there's no compassion to it. There's not gonna, these programs and stuff they had to help people are suspended and they're not going to do it because they don't feel that the government or the role of government is to help people when the Republicans are in charge.
Right.
60 Minutes producer Bill Owens resigns, citing inability to make independent decisions. CBS had made a deal with Donald Trump, basically, I think, when they settled their lawsuit, and it was like, you need to be more fair to Donald Trump, which of course means be unfair, right? Don't call us liars. Don't tell people, when we're doing shit that's fucked up. Anything you say that is true about us that also is like we were treated as slander and defamation instead of just y'all doing your jobs.
Right, which is why they should have never.
You're
paid
not an
them.
independent wing. You basically are you are government media as far as we're concerned. You need to do what the fuck we tell you to do.
Right.
So 60 Minutes, Bill Owens, he resigned. He wrote an email to his staff that said, over the past months, it has become clear that I would not be allowed to run the show as I've always run it, to make independent decisions based on what was right for 60 Minutes, right for the audience. So having defended this show and what we stand for from every angle over time with everything I could, I'm stepping aside so the show can move forward. The decision from Owens sent shockwaves throughout CBS News. In a memo of her own, CBS News station and media venture CEO Wendy McMahon wrote that she is committed to 60 Minutes and to ensuring that the mission of the work remains our priority. We've already begun conversations with correspondents and senior leaders, and those will continue in days and weeks ahead. On a personal note, working with Bill has been one of the greatest privileges of my blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Basically, it was one of those things where they thought everybody was going to go along with the program, and somebody was like, this shit is fucked up. I literally can't do my job because of this bullshit. A court case that y'all would have won, but you just decided to bow down. What else did you think was going to happen? And this person's probably tired of being told, no, you can't do this. No, you can't cover that. No, we can't do this story. And they was like, fuck it. And now everybody wants to act motherfucking shocked and surprised and be like, we're going to keep on doing it, which means they're going to do exactly what Trump tells them to do. That's basically what they're saying in corporate speech.
The source says that they believe other resignations at the show could follow. Paramount has been in settlement talks with President Trump over a lawsuit filed over an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris ahead of last year's election. Owens is only the third executive producer in the history of 60 Minutes.
Woo.
So yeah, it's just, I mean, it's sad because you're watching this shit, like you're watching the, what do they call it, the fourth estate, whatever they call the media in America. We're watching it die in real time.
Yes.
We're watching like billionaires buy the Washington Post or whatever it is and be like, yeah, we're no longer doing editorials that disparage Trump. The LA Times, you know, having resignations and, you know, choosing to do the same thing as the Washington Post. It'll be like, we're not going to say what candidate to vote for president. We're not endorsing a candidate. We're not covering malfeasance. We're not covering the White House in any negative way or Trump's campaign in any negative way. We're watching this stuff happen. You're watching ABC News make deals. You're watching Amazon pay the first lady money to do a documentary that, you know, who knows if that'll even fucking happen. Like,
right.
We're watching this stuff die in real time, man. You're watching the AP get banned from the White House. And then once they win in the courtroom, still end up being iced out from stuff that the White House is supposed to be forced to comply to give them access to. So, yeah, this is just another long line of things.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come out and say that I was right. The time for the media to do their job was prior to the election. Mm-hmm. Y'all should have been the loudest, because the thing is, I was like, oh, they're going to come after y'all. Mm-hmm. I've listened to the podcast. I've heard the stories. I hear how y'all talk about people in these other countries and other parts of the world that get locked up, that are afraid, you know, that their lives are threatened. They have to go underground. You know, nobody knows where there is. They're in bunkers and fucking underground caves. I've heard the stories, and all the people here would be like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for you. I'm so, like, that's literally all they could give them. You know what I'm saying? But that's because they never thought it would happen here. Your job, media, is to educate the public. But once we got to the point where your job is for clicks and profit, education went out the window. When your job, it was to mimic social media and meme it to death and gif it to death and whatever it takes to get them ad dollars up, this is the end result of that. You know, and there are people out there that are doing their job and they're doing the good media, but you know what? That shit gets shut down. Somebody makes a decision to say, we're not doing that story. You know what? Or that story is at the bottom of the page. That story is at the back of the book. Like, they was like, people don't want to hear you talking about, you know, your environmental shit. People don't want to hear you covering a story about fracking. People don't want to hear, you know, you talking about how white supremacy is the number one issue in this country. You know, nobody wants to hear that. And so a lot of those people get very, really frustrated with it. And I don't blame them, because that was like, I went to, particularly if you went to journalism school and you doing the who, what, when, where, why, and how, like, you like, bitch, this is my job. And everybody's around you telling you that's not your job. This is the end result. They're going to shut you down. Y'all not going to be able to do your job freely. And you know what's going to happen? Some of them who have the privilege, not all, will start leaving America and going to other parts of the world, covering American news over there.
I think the other part of it with when it comes to like the media capitulating and well, first of all, actually, no. Let me play your song. I'm sorry. You are right. Karen be knowing. Karen be knowing.
I was right about something.
So you were right about it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, when you capitulate like this, you're not guaranteed to get it back. Like, I think what happens is they think, oh yeah, well, the Democrats or something will happen. Well, good. These people are not just gonna, like, okay, a court ruling was ruled. Who gives a fuck? I'm not gonna do what the court ruling tells me to do.
It.
And you know, they are actually Trump has had these what do you call it? These law firms that he's basically punked into giving him free services and stuff, because he's basically like, we will put the full arm of the government on to these law firms. He's established elite law firms, unless, because you guys prosecuted and y'all were looking into investigating and trying to sue me for all the illegal shit that I was alleged of doing while I was the president. Well, because of that, I'm going to retaliate against you with the full power of the government. So they're just going, hey, we don't want no problems. We'll give you a bunch of free legal stuff. And well, who do you think they're going to weaponize to sue the press or to defend them in the court of law? It's these people. So like, you never get anything by going halfway. And yeah, this is why I will never feel bad. And there are so many norms that I do not concede.
Right.
And some of those norms are actually things like, well, we had a responsibility to report on Joe Biden. You know, he stumbled at some of these press conferences. Actually, no, you didn't. You didn't need to treat it and the reason I say that is because I watch how y'all treat Trump. And
right.
None of these are treated like the crises they are. I'm watching constitutional crisis for real now.
Yes.
And y'all are like, aren't the Democrats at fault? Can't they fix this? Nah, you're right. They sat down on the job in the first place.
Right. And for me. And I think in some parts of the media was doing these fires. They was like, hey, y'all, like, this is serious. A lot of them got pushed to the side. They wasn't at the forefront. And my thing is, particularly with this last election cycle, presidential election cycle we have, unless something changed, I will always have smoke for the media. I will have smoke for them, because I'm like, I don't want to hear the whining. I don't want to hear the complaining. I don't want to hear how y'all are losing y'all job. Like, not trying to funny. I don't want to hear it, because you could have did something to prevent this from the beginning, but you wishy-washed around and played.
It was an all hands on deck situation that I don't think they treated that way.
Right.
Like, this was the real threat to the press. So you can do it. I was just doing my job shit if you want to. This was extremely predictable.
Yes, it was.
Donald Trump has always had contempt for the media. Mm-hmm. He's always attacked the people who investigate and criticize him. People that just honestly are being fair.
Yes.
So yeah, this, you know, it's not every member and not all people don't deserve this. It sucks. I don't like this. But
right.
Yeah, I'm watching it happen, and yeah, it makes sense.
All right, you're right, and it's one of the things where you go. I'm when I say that statement, I'm going as a totality, you know.
Yeah. You don't got to clean it up. I think I verified. You know, I think I cleaned it up enough. It's not all of them. We know. Rachel Maddow don't deserve this, but it is what it is. But yeah, shout out to the people that are resigning, that at least get to go on the record and say this is some bullshit. Mm-hmm. But I don't trust the leadership at. I do not trust the leadership at CBS to go and get another person that will do this job well. They got to go find a shill now that'll do the work of the Trump administration, as they have been told.
Yep.
Let's see. Larry David mocks Bill Maher's dinner with Trump in an op-ed in the New York Times. I love this. This is why he's my GOAT. This is why I fuck with Larry David. He's so fucking good. This is what I need people to do. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I need people to, like, get in there, talk that shit. So Larry David wrote a op-ed that was called, like, My Dinner with Adolf. And in this essay,
what a title.
Right. And in this essay, he basically goes on to talk about how without mentioning Bill Maher by name, for the record, he basically goes on and describes like a wonderful dinner at Hitler's home. And how he was nice to him. So, what can I say? The same bullshit that Bill Maher tried out there for Trump. Imagine my surprise when in the spring of 1939, a letter arrived in my house, inviting me to dinner at the old chancellery with the world's most reviled man, Adolf Hitler. I've been a vocal critic of his on the radio from the beginning, pretty much predicting everything he was going to do on the road to dictatorship. No one I knew encouraged me to go. He's Hitler. He's a monster. But eventually I concluded that hate gets us nowhere. I knew I couldn't change his views, but we need to talk to the other side. Even if he has invaded and annexed other countries and committed unspeakable crimes against humanity. 2 weeks later, I found myself on the front steps of the old chancellery and was led into an opulent living room where a few of the Fuhrer's most vocal supporters had gathered. Himmler, Goering, Leni Riefenstahl, and the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward Ninth or some shit. He talked about some of the beautiful art on the walls, or we talked about some of the beautiful art on the walls that had been taken from the homes of Jews. But our conversation ended abruptly when we heard loud footsteps coming down the hallway. Everyone stiffened as Hitler entered the room. He was wearing a tan suit with a swastika armband and gave me an enthusiastic greeting that caught me off guard. Frankly, it was a warmer greeting than I normally get from my parents, and it was accompanied by a slap on my back. I found the whole thing quite disarming. I joked that I was surprised to see him in a tan suit because if he wore that out, it would be perceived as un-Fuhrer-like. That amused him to no end, and I realized I'd never seen him laugh before. Suddenly, he seemed so human. Here I was, prepared to meet Hitler, the one I'd seen and heard, the public Hitler. But this private Hitler was a completely different animal, and oddly enough, this one seemed more authentic, and like this was the real Hitler. The whole thing had my head spinning. It goes on for like 3 more paragraphs, but it's the whole thing is like that. It's so great. I'll get to the very last part. That's perfect ending. 2 hours later, the dinner was over and the Fuhrer escorted me to the door. I am so glad to have met you. I hope I'm no longer the monster you thought I was. I must say, mein Fuhrer, I'm so thankful I came. Although we disagree on many issues, it doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. And with that, I gave him a Nazi salute and walked out into the night.
Oh, Lord, that's hilarious.
Larry. That's my man.
My man, right?
Oh, that's my dude, man. Never said Bill Maher's name. Didn't have to go back and forth with him. But just that, you're a fucking sucker and you got played, and it's obvious to everybody. They both have worked with HBO. They both been in the room with the big suits. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Larry David for putting something on the line and being like, man, you on some bullshit, Bill Maher.
Right.
Let's see. You got a couple more and then we'll get out of here. Let's start with this one. So Andrew Schulz went on to, I think, the Daily Wire, or Daily Caller, which is a conservative leaning show. He, of course, has been making the rounds to promote his stand-up special. He went on Ryan Clark's podcast, the Pivot podcast. I love Ryan Clark. I think he does good work. Obviously, he's still an athlete, former athlete. Like, I don't think he's trying to be a perfect person or whatever. I don't think he's, woke, But, and woke, I put in quotes as in performative, not woke and anyway, you guys know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So I like Ryan Clark, but he called out Andrew Schulz on his podcast a while ago and talked about how much black women helped him and mean to him, and why he felt that, he needed to protect black women. He needed to call out Andrew Schulz. And Andrew Schulz said he was clout chasing and So then they came together on Brian Clark's podcast and hung out for an hour. And by the end, they were chums. They were buddies. They were basically, yucking it up, which is, to me, kind of the danger of an Andrew Schulz, because once he's there and he's in your face and he's charming you and y'all are making jokes and you want to have common ground, it can be disarming, and you don't know what he really means and what is just, I said that shit in the room, and now I look like I got the cosign from Ryan Clark and the homies, right?
Then go on your podcast, it'd be a whole nother on his personal podcast, it'd be a whole nother
So
story.
now he's on the Daily Caller, which is a podcast that supports MAGA, Trump, conservatives, bigotry, all that stuff. And here he is talking about his support of Trump.
The sides switched so much. When I was younger, like, Democrats were cool. They were getting their dick sucked in the office. They were like, right? They were like, they were like supportive of like hip hop music. They said, do whatever you want. Like, we don't want to be in your bedroom. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting pussy left and right. Right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the fuck you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats. So I don't think I've changed. I just like the dudes that get pussy and say whatever they want. So it's you want me to be a Democrat again? Get some pussy. Tell me to say whatever I want. I'm there. Besides.
That is...
I just remember hearing people talk about folks were going in too hard on him after that thing with Shits and Gigs, where people was like, man, I don't really fuck with Andrew Tate anyway. It was like, he just a comedian. He just making jokes. He on our side. This is why people don't fuck with us. And as always with these pipelines, especially these fucking comedians, it's never in for a little bit. They always start sliding down the scale, and eventually they're essentially just right wing. He had Trump on his show. He was making jokes, but Trump was on his fucking platform doing the same thing that Andrew Schulz was doing on Ryan Clark's platform. Meaning, if I'm here and we're laughing together, it doesn't really matter how horrible a person I am when I'm not here.
Right.
Because while I'm here, we're buddies. Hitler's patting you on the back and giving you a warm greeting that you warmer than your parents.
And if you realize something, and maybe I might be wrong, but tell me if I'm wrong. On the outside looking in, it be all men. What are women podcasts that these type of people go on where everything just rolls smooth?
Yeah, and I don't know enough to know if he does women's podcasts and stuff.
Right.
I really don't keep up with him like that. I know, and the thing is, this is the danger of the whole comedian thing. With him being a comedian, people will give it a license as if he's not serious. It's like, oh no, he's just joking. No, he does support Trump. He that is not a joke.
Nope.
And of course, I'm sure he crafted it as a joke, but this is my problem with Andrew Schulz, to be honest. His jokes are not very smart, and I understand that you don't need to have smart jokes to be popular.
Right.
A lot of very popular comedians have dumbass jokes, and that's, America's dumb, and it helps the room to be dumb, and it's like, so I'm not, saying that he shouldn't be popular or successful, but I'm just saying, for me, my personal taste of comedians, he's never made it up there because I don't find what he says to be very smart. It's just like, oh no, that upon any examination of scrutiny, the joke falls apart. And in this case, it's Democrats was cool with gay people. Well, Republicans aren't cool with gay people.
They are not.
Trump's convicted. He's been convicted of sexual improprieties in court.
Right. And
it's not getting pussy. It's the baby mama shit. It's just weirdly racially coded. It's weirdly and it just makes me think about whiteness and how it's so easy for whiteness to end up supporting white supremacy, whether it be from Bill Maher angle, from the Dennis Miller angle, from the Andrew Schulz angle. So often they just end up over there. Whether the fuck they can kick it with your black ass, they can be on the podcast yucking it up. Hey, I make jokes about everybody. But somehow they still end up at the table with the white supremacists. And he'll say, I treat everybody the same. It's not about that for me. If you fuck with Trump, it's about that. It's not enough.
Is.
He hasn't left room for it to not be about that. And I know he's not going to be speaking up when people are getting fucking deported. He's not going to be speaking up when the press is getting silent and the real cancel culture is happening. He's not he's a coward in that way. But when it comes to just, kicking it with the Daily Wire or Caller or whatever and making jokes about the Democrats, it's such a layup. And so many people have platformed him. And, with it being like Charlemagne is platformed him, and that's his homie. He'll sit in that room and right across from him and laugh at this shit or pretend that they just won't bring it up when they're on there together or whatever. And then the final thing is, this is this is Ryan Clark helping the scorpion cross the river, whether it's well intended or not. And I listened to that whole show. Ryan Clark has a moment where he's like, I don't even know if having you on here is like, I'm gonna catch heat for this. And I thought to myself at the time, like, yeah, you are, but maybe it won't be that bad. But you can't say that because this guy is going to keep talking when you're not around. And the shit he says to the next audience that isn't your black woman audience is the shit that makes people come back to you and go, why the fuck were you acting like this dude was okay?
Right.
Because he doesn't seem okay.
At all. And it's very, very frustrating. And like you say, what he said, when I listened to what he said in that clip, I was like, not trying funny. Hey, what about that is actually funny? Like to me, it didn't.
It's always the worst, weirdest stereotypes.
Yes, and it's
3
like,
baby mamas, ha ha ha.
yeah, it's like it's not really actually funny. It's not even really presented in a comedic manner, even though I understood that was the point. But at the same time, it's like your logic makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it's just not, to me, it's not clever funny, but it is what it is. We all make jokes that, you know, might be puerile or not reach every, but whatever. But it's just his constant thing of being okay with fascist ass Trump is not lost on me.
Right.
Joe Rogan's constant, I'm actually not that critical when it comes to the other side, while other people try to convince me, hey man, he's just being fair to both sides. And I'm like, but I'm watching and he's not.
Nope.
Like,
and I'm not crazy either.
Like, it's not even that deft of a sleight of hand. Like, it's not hard to catch.
No, it's not.
I maybe people just have such a good time, or maybe people just like, I want to hear something raunchy or a little bit wrong. And maybe, like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know why people are make so many excuses and give so many pads for guys like him. But it's a bit, to me, it's dangerous.
Yeah, and it's a bit telling about the people that want to defend them either.
Yeah.
You know, because it's one of them things where if you get up there and you say those words, people are going to have something to say.
Yeah. All right. Last one. This one actually I really enjoyed, but we can get out on this anyway.
Okay.
But I've never heard this podcast until today when I saw this clip. It's called I've Had It Podcast. And this woman, Jen, is the host, and she had a conversation with Rahm Emanuel, who used to be like a Democratic stalwart, worked in the Obama administration, was a mayor of Chicago, very not well liked. He's like a rough and tumble Democrat that, you know, tells it like it is until people are like, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, they're talking about obviously the election and politics, and this happened.
So what have you had it with?
I would say we have a series of topics that I think sometimes consume, and other topics that don't actually get the attention that they should get. And we ended up fighting for the wrong things. We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100%.
Okay, the only room we were did really well was the bathroom. And that's the smallest room in the house.
That is such bullshit. That is total.
Now, what I think is, before she goes into her answer, what I think is interesting here is, one, as I've been saying for a minute, easiest applause to get right now is shitting on Democrats.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what room you're in. If you're in a room of very liberal people, they can't wait to shit on the Democrats. If you're in a room of conservatives, they also love shitting on the Democrats. And the other thing is, he clearly had that line prepared. What he wanted to say was, we were down on kitchen table issues. We weren't talking about the family room. We weren't talking about the living room, the kitchen room. We was doing too much talking about the bathroom, the smallest room in the house, and that's why we lost. Obviously alluding to trans people and their rights. The bathroom, right? Like, oh, who's losing what bathroom? So it's a cute way of saying we should abandon trans people and their issues, and that's all we talked about, and that's why we lost. But I love what Jen does right here. when she disagrees and says it's bullshit, she about to start up on her carousel with good white woman energy.
Such bullshit. That is total bullshit. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative. And I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this. You know who talks about trans people more than anybody? MAGA. Kamala Harris talked about home ownership. She talked about kitchen table issues. Trump's over there droning on about Hannibal Lecter. Are you kidding me? This is where the Democrats lose, because we're playing the game with the rule book. They've read the rule book up and are cramming it down everybody's throat. And Democrats are upset because Joe Biden pardoned his son. We gotta fucking fight. They're the gender-obsessed weirdos, not us. We're the ones who fight for Social Security. We fight for Medicare. And yeah, we're not gonna bully trans people. We're not gonna fucking do it. Fine.
Right, and the thing is, these are facts, and it's very frustrating when you talk to people like this, because that's why I don't talk to people, because I be wanting to say, get the whole fuck out my face, like this is why you lose, because you're basically saying everything that the Republicans saying, you're regurgitating it to me, and I'm glad that she stood her ground and was like, what you're saying is not facts, and what you're saying is not true.
100%, man. That's the energy we need. People keep asking like, well, what, Ryan, what do we need to do? And I keep saying, like, look, people just gonna have to suffer, because I don't know what else is going to reach them, because logic isn't reaching them, and they're not talking about the truth.
Right.
They're making shit up. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest lies that have come out of the election are these Republican talking points that even liberal people trot out. If I listen to one more fucking Democrat or liberal progressive leaning like person get on a podcast mic and tell me Democrats talk too much about trans people, I'm gonna fucking choke somebody.
Right.
Because that's not what happened.
That is not. All the commercials were Trump ran the fucking commercials, y'all. It's like y'all wanna gaslight me and act like I didn't live through the same fucking election that you did.
Democrats didn't have anything about the economy. They did. And I know people. I think that's what's so frustrating come out of the election. I've lost so much respect for so many people.
Yes,
and they don't even know it. Like, and it's to the point where I don't want to talk to them, because I don't know how we would talk, and it wouldn't come out that I'm like, no, I listened to you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Agreed.
And you're in such weird denial. You don't even know you're in denial. You think you're being radical, you think you're being savvy and smart, and you're not. We're in a fucking fist fight, and you're trying to like have a sassy comeback, and the comeback's not helpful. We're in the throw the punches part of this fucking fight, and you weren't ready to throw punches. You were critiquing. You were like, oh, what if we do it from this, like with this over for that? So
right,
I love that she was like, we don't need the shit to be cute. If we can't say obvious shit like, hey man, it was a black person and a woman, and they was like, no, I don't want both of those things together for sure.
Right.
I didn't want a woman, and I definitely don't want more black.
Right.
And if I say that and you go, well, then we can't even have this conversation. Right. I don't think there's anything to talk about either.
There is not.
And you're not gonna change my mind. I'm not gonna change your mind. So let's just leave it at that. But yeah,
agreed.
That's politics till we get mad. Let's keep the anger going, guys. All right, we don't need to stop. Let's do some fucking with black people music. Here we go.
Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people.
All right, fucking with black people. Let's go. Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller defends Sinners against critical headline about box office performance. Ben Stiller has fiercely defended. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, shout out to him.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, now that I think about it, Ben Stiller, we appreciate you, brother. We might have play another song at the end of this segment. But Ben Stiller has fiercely defended Ryan Coogler's new vampirific horror movie against a report that even with its $61 million global debut, profitability remains a ways away. So it got $60 million. The budget was $90 million. And so before marketing and everything, but I've been telling this shit on the show for years. I've been saying on Nerd Off and stuff. This is that weird thing that's happening in Hollywood now, where fans and critics have turned into weird ass studio heads. It's the same thing I don't like about NBA fans in general now, and the NBA media in general. I understand that y'all think this is the logical conclusion, is that everybody should want to be a GM and learn hard salary caps and trades and pick exchanges and shit. I know you think that's reasonable. That is actually sapping the fun out of it. It was better. I guarantee 100%, guarantee it. Every single person that loved sports loved it more before they knew all that shit. I don't care who you are. I guarantee you, when you loved the NFL, it was at a time before you knew how much someone's contract was, when they were coming up, what the fucking extension was, before you knew any of that shit, because they didn't always cover that.
Nope.
That's like a 10, 12, maybe 15 year thing.
Yeah, they just
once fantasy football stuff started, when we started learning about that. We didn't always know about that. It wasn't in our video games. We used to play video games. That wasn't, I'm so old. There was a time where you play a video game and there wasn't like a manage the season by trading players and drafting people mode. It was just you play the game.
The players play.
You don't need none of money. So anyway, all that stuff to say, that Moneyball sort of culture has started with films, and it's turning everybody into fucking weird ass studio heads. And a lot of people are doing the bidding of Hollywood studio execs, because it's like, yeah, the film made $175 million, but the budget was $90 million, and the marketing budget is probably another $20 million on that. And and by the end, you're like, this major hit for whatever independent film this was, or whatever idea that this creator had, or whatever this was, it is now no longer a success, or it wasn't as successful as I think it should be. And so when Hollywood does things like cut the budget for new films, cut writers, cut projects, shelve films, you're actually making the fucking argument for them. Where it's like, yeah, man, that's like, and then you get mad. I don't know why they didn't put Batgirl out. I don't know the 27 different types of ways you wouldn't admit that some of these other successful films actually were successful and made money. You know, we got to measure against projection. When the fuck did you ever know the projection of a movie back in the day? No, you just knew you wanted to see the movie or not.
Yeah, but that's simple for me.
So all that to say, it made $61 million. It is definitely going to make its budget back.
Yes.
I don't know what the fucking marketing expenses are, because none of us know, and studios lie all the goddamn time.
Right. Nobody knows what the real numbers is. That's in-house information.
And like I told you, after working at Game Theory, I've experienced this. Whatever they want to continue to be successful, they call it successful. It doesn't really matter what the numbers say. They'll find a way to justify it. Oh, it was the ratings. Oh, it's the critical acclaim. Oh, it was the core audience in this specific demographic. Oh, people from this age to this age. Oh, this area of the world likes it. It didn't cost much to make. Like, they'll find a way if they want it to continue. If they don't, then they just go, none of that shit matters. And they'll come up with a different reason. Oh, it cost too much. The directors wanted too much. Oh, we didn't have the same vision. We are getting away from those type of IPs. We're just investing in this. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so you have this original idea, successful film, black film, extremely well reviewed film. That is clearly going to, within the next week, make its fucking money back, or maybe 2 weeks from now, make all its money back. Variety, amongst others, wrote headlines that sort of, downplayed the success of the film. Now, I think it's important to note here, maybe Variety did this and wrote this tweet and this headline purposely to make everyone upset. And maybe they wanted everybody to share it and dunk on it and be upset with them. I don't know. What I will say is, if that is true, I would like anyone who has ever worked there to have just come forward with that process. How come we've never had, because I was thinking about this. I saw someone tweet like, it's kind of snarkily at everyone, like, guys, the purpose of the headline is to make you mad, and like y'all are falling for it. To which I'm like, if somebody does something racist, I'm now the problem for saying, damn, that's racist.
Right.
For being human.
Right, because there are a lot of white films that came out that fucking flopped, and they did not cover.
That's not what I'm saying, though. But I'm just saying, like, the fact that, but you're right. I'm not disagreeing. But the fact that we can't even point that out.
No, because they don't want you to talk about it.
Like, I'm wrong to be like, hey, man, that's fucked up.
Right, you're part of the problem.
I'm fucking human, man. They talking about us.
Yes, they are.
You know, it's like, well, maybe Elon Musk did the Hitler salute to make us do. Yeah, well, guess what? I guess he got me because I called him a bitch to his face. Oh, damn. Can't believe that. Wow, got me. Anyway, my point being, people were calling this out ad nauseum. It was all over the timeline. You can make the same argument to all the people that want to be nonplussed. Why don't you log off? You don't want to see people upset? You know people are going to be upset on here when you logged on. Some racist shit happened. You could choose to come back in a week. Mm-hmm. But okay, whatever. So the headline was Sinners has amassed $61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film, yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses, so profitability remains a ways away. This was not the only headline like this. There were several other ones that just very weirdly phrased. Mm-hmm. Ben Stiller quote tweets and says, in what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline? So yeah, I and you know, I appreciate him saying that, and I do think what they said was ridiculous. And of course, people went and did what you said. Here's Quentin Tarantino, same almost exact opening, same almost exact budget. Actually, even the same setup with the studio where he regains the rights to the IP.
This is not new. People act like it's new because somebody black did it. All of a sudden, it's brand new.
Yes, and. So Brian Coogler has a deal with Warner Brothers that essentially after 25 years, I believe, he gets the rights to this film back. And that is not the first time that's happened. Quentin Tarantino's done a deal like that before. But the headline for that was it could destroy the studio system as we know it. Now, why when he does it is not just a smart, savvy move that we all applaud. Why when he does it, suddenly it's a threat to the entire studio system?
Right.
Is it because he's a black man did it? Because when Quentin Tarantino did it, it was just smart.
Right.
It was just savvy. It was just good. There was no negative thing to say about it because aren't we always rooting for the creators and the directors over big bad studios, right? Don't we hate Disney and WB and all this? Except for now, right? It's just such a very interesting turn of it. Now, the film chief at Warner Brothers, Michael DeLuca, defended the deal with Ryan Coogler, saying it's not a make or break anything for any studio or the industry. It was a competitive situation. Ryan himself went on the record saying he was going to get it from somebody else, and he made a pretty effective case for this movie, especially with its themes of black ownership. This is very important and personal to him, and frankly, we're proud to be able to give it to Ryan. So the studio's not even being like, guys, destroy this man.
They don't feel like they're being screwed.
Yeah,
right?
They're like, no, this is fine. Everything's going well.
And 25 years is ample enough time. Bitch, if you ain't juiced out of all his coins, I don't know what to tell you.
Guess what else he said, Karen?
What else?
He said, after he finished Black Panther 3, I just spoke to him this morning. He will absolutely be back with Warner Brothers making more movies. Yeah, they not fucking dumb. They see this shit about to make more money, and they're like, what got some more ideas, Brian? It's that fucking easy. So, but yeah, so 0 to 100 for, you know, this whole thing, the headlines and all that.
It is 100 for the headline, 0 for Ben Stiller. Cause shout out to him for actually coming out and being like, "Hey, dog," cause
Yeah.
he's been in the industry long enough, and he's read a lot of these headlines and some of these movies that they've raved about. He's been in, so he's like, "Hey, dog, like it's other movies with this same budget, and y'all don't write these articles like this."
And it's funny because after he said it, I saw a few less white people doing the like, guys, Variety only cares about one thing, and that's money. So I don't know where you guys are getting this racism thing from, to which I'm like, man, I'm tell you something. You can set your clock by it. Nobody is an expert on what's not racist like a white person that never has spoken up about racism in their life.
In their motherfucking
They cannot
life.
wait to tell you it's definitely not racist. Whatever you're thinking, Blackie, it ain't that.
Whatever you say you going through, no.
Yeah.
It's
I don't have
not
any
that.
experience with it, and I've never read a book or tried to study anything or spoke up for anybody, but let me tell you what it's not. I hate the studios, but in this case, I don't. I hate Variety, but not now.
Yeah, they fucking expertise is some shit that they don't know nothing about.
Well, I agree with your score, but I will add one more thing. The studio head and Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Somebody set up the projector. Okay. Everybody going to the
y'all know what?
media room.
We got them to bring the Batgirl out. Let's go.
Can we move Big Mama TV? Move the little TV off top of the big TV real quick. We need to watch some movies together. Put on Severance, Ben Stiller. I'll try to understand it. I don't give a fuck. Come on to the cookout. We appreciate y'all.
Come on to it.
It was good to see some people be reasonable.
Mm-hmm. And I really do appreciate that, because for some reason, not for some reason, a lot of racism was wrapped around this movie. Because it's majority of black cast, majority of black lead. There are white people in it. And it's one of the things for me to where it maybe the way black people love this movie made white people mad.
You think so?
Yes, the way black people have been coming out online, gushing and raving about it, and even their fellow peers were giving it like, even before we seen it, it was like such a 5 stars, A1, A+. They even took off the thing where you could talk about it in advance. They was like, nope, just go ahead and just talk about it. And
embargo.
Embargo, right. And I think when it's a subsection of white people, a lot of times white supremacist people, anytime niggas are happy about something and or sad about something, they got to show up. Anytime we show these really strong emotions on one end or the other, they've got to show up. And on both ends, you know what they tell us? Shut the fuck up. If we happy, shut the fuck up. If we sad, shut the fuck up. You know, at the end of the day, they really want us to shut the fuck up. And I really do think that had a lot to do with the interaction and the back and forth and the headlines and things like that. Consciously, knowingly or unknowingly, I really do think America is built off of racism. And this movie struck a fucking chord for a lot of people because they did not shy away from it in the movie. And white people couldn't come out feeling great about how the white people were behaving and things like that. So they were like, oh God, I don't know how to respond. We you know, shit like that. And I think sometimes anything that taps into their insecurities about their whiteness and white supremacies make them come out like full, in my opinion, full-fledged like this, because it was a good movie. And for me, it was kind of the end, but because it was blackity black, and we not shying away from the black, white people was like, whoa, Negroes, too much black for me.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like part of the thing with this movie is that it is for us. And well-meaning or not, I think a lot of white people just won't understand. Maybe they'll get some of it, but they won't understand it. I'm not even sure a lot of black people are going to necessarily understand all of it. Like, I think the things that it's trying to say and communicate are layered and smart, but it also really just happens to be a beautiful film on the surface that is very entertaining.
Yes.
And so I do think people will walk out. Some people will walk out of it and go, you know, crying like it was so good. Mm-hmm. There are gonna be a lot of people that walk out and just go, I don't get it's overhyped. Like, yeah, it was a good film, but it's just a vampire movie or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, it was cool, but it's not something we haven't seen before with these vampires and all this stuff. I thought it was gonna be this, and I think I could see them not understanding, and then I think the telling part, like what you said, is that the anger comes out because there's nothing to be angry over. You know, I expect JL Covan to like not understand this movie and to come out and say it was overhyped, and because I don't expect him to get it. Now, you know, hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised, but you know, he didn't understand Black Panther really. I like these cultural moments are so insular to us,
right?
And one of the things that to me make me cherish the film is that it feels like Kendrick Lamar before white people started being excited he called Drake a pedophile. Where I'm like, oh, he was excellent and great whether you came to the party or not.
Right.
And you come to the party and you're just like, we calling people pedophiles. And it's like, that's cool. Glad you're here. Pull up a seat. But do I expect you to really understand everything he's saying? No. And in this day and age, there's an anger attached to some type of, like you said, some white people get angry about that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
It's not centered around me.
Yeah, I agree that there's a huge amount of that in the backlash to it. And of course, there's people that just troll, but I just wanted to bring up that other element exists too, of they just don't fucking get it.
Nope.
They just want, and I don't expect them to get it. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they'll walk out like, no, I fucking get it. Like that, you know, they're very confident. I get it. It was fucking. Yeah. But, you don't.
Yeah. Right.
It's okay. There's moments in this film that it's just we would understand. You know, being black from the South, some of this shit is just innate. Where you're like, bam, recognize that right away.
Understood that, and
the reverence for it, the love for it, the joy, the pain, the sorrows. You know, it reminded me of you when you said Chicago ain't nothing but Mississippi with tall buildings. Right. You know, like, it's just these moments that are just in there, just strewn throughout that aren't, it's okay for them not to get it. Mm-hmm. And it's so well done that you can actually enjoy it without getting it. But yeah, that we need to put it back in its place. That anger, you know, it's uncalled for, and it's predictable at the same time, and it always comes. And so, like, in that way, I, you know, like I said, I completely agree with you, but I'm just throwing in the extra element of, and some of them just ain't gonna get it. Like,
right.
It's not even that they hate black people or they want to be, they just gonna walk out and look, and we've all been in that situation. We've all watched something. That's what the beauty of art. We've all experienced a thing that wasn't made with us intended.
Yes. And was like, what the fuck did I just see?
I told you, one of my favorite things I loved about Blue Beetle is I didn't understand all the references.
I didn't either.
There was so many things that were just very specific to a specific type of Latin culture that I was like, I don't know that cartoon. I don't know that reference. I know it means something to the characters in the scene, and it's supposed to mean something to the audience. I don't need to get it to know that was art.
And another thing is Crazy Rich Asian is another
that's another one. I didn't get it all.
That came out and that was gorgeous and beautiful. But that's the thing. Every other culture outside of whiteness has to always consume some shit that they don't understand.
All the time.
But the second white people have to consume some shit that they don't understand, all of a sudden they got to backlash at you like you're the problem for even presenting it to them.
It's why I make the point sometimes of being like, this is white people news. This was a white movie I saw. Because if you were to watch Sinners as a white person and be like, it was a black movie, no one's gonna be mad that you say it was a black. You're right, it's a black movie. But whiteness is like the absence of, like, when something is white, it is just a movie.
Right.
So when I say I watched Royal Tenenbaums, and I find those movies to be very white movies, it's like, well, I mean, they got a black person in it. It's like, this is white culture, and I'm not of it. I don't know it all.
Right.
There's songs they're playing. I don't know those references.
Same.
If someone did know those references because they grew up listening to certain type of music or around a certain type of people, they would get it. And that's okay. That's why we have art. That's why we communicate. That's why we have a podcast. We have a black podcast. Ain't no shame in that. It's just a descriptor. But the backlash to like, how dare I not be centered is very telling, and it comes out in these headlines. It comes out in these critics that are like, guys, it's not about race. It comes out in these so-called experts. It comes out in the reviews where it's just downing this thing. It comes out when J.L. Covan walks in the theater and makes 3 black women get up from their seats so he can sit in his assigned seat. But he does it with a bit of an attitude, and you're like, it's coming out of him, and we have to just deal with it. So I definitely understand, but all right, let's move into something else. I'm sorry, that was man, and I know JL's listening.
You know, if you was a real black dude, they would arrest you a long
time ago. All right, what was we gonna get into? That went.
Was we supposed to give a score? I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
You gave it 100 and then 0 for the people we invited to the cookout.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll try and do something fun. Let's see. You got Dendro. I'm not gonna do Diddy right now. That's terrible.
I don't even know what's happening. I'm going.
Maybe we do guess the race.
If you want to.
No election. I don't want to do that.
White people news.
Who? Trying to think the white people news. That anything happen I give a fuck about. No, let's do guess the race. Yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
Where's my guess the race music? Wrong one. There we go.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, guess the race. Time to go around the globe, find different articles, guess the race of the people involved. Of course, Karen's playing, the chat room is playing, and they're guessing the race. And they're all racist, guys, okay? I would love to tell you that they're not, but we all know the truth. They can't help themselves. All right, this is the first one. A Florida woman speaks out after suffering a wild raccoon attack in her backyard. We're guessing the race of the woman, not Jason Whitlock. I mean, not the raccoon. Sorry.
Oh,
my bad,
no.
guys. Sorry about that.
A Florida woman recovering from an animal attack that happened in her own backyard. It happened in Palm Beach Gardens. She says she felt a bite on her leg as soon as she opened the door. Gail Hines of Palm Beach recovering after falling victim to a wild animal attack.
And I step out like this, and all of a sudden, I feel something on my leg and biting me. And I look, and it's this huge raccoon. And I screamed, of course, and shook him off, and he ran off to the corner.
She said,
now, what's interesting is in this video, they still had the raccoon walking around. Yeah. Like I don't know if it's a random other raccoon or it's that raccoon that bit her, but why is it still in the yard? I feel like that shit should have got shot or something.
Right, might have gave me rabies. Now I gotta get fucking rabies shots.
Inside and doused her leg in peroxide. When her husband got home, they rushed to the ER. Her daughter then came to the house to wait for animal control.
The raccoon had come out and come to the pool to get some water, and then wandered to the end of the courtyard and spit up blood and keeled over and died.
Out of caution, Gail opted to get vaccinated.
Oh, you lucky you ain't become super coon or what? Like get some rare raccoon powers.
Grow a tail.
Right, that could have been a radioactive raccoon. You could have become Coon Woman. Yeah. Well, I guess we already got Stacey Dash. That don't make sense.
Oh, no.
Vaccinated for rabies just to be safe while the raccoon was sent to the lab to test for it.
It was definitely more unusual just because the animal died on its own right after the exposure.
She says,
what if it bit her and it was like, oh, God, this is terrible. What was in that blood?
What was in that blood? No, thank you.
The results came back negative for rabies.
You may see an animal acting very friendly. You may see an animal acting very aggressive. You may see an animal that is very vocal, making a lot of noises that are unexplainable.
Gail says she is relieved that the raccoon didn't have rabies and has since learned that it may have ingested rat poison. If that's not the case, she jokes that maybe she's the problem.
All of my friends were saying, oh my God, one bite of Gail and he's dead.
Well,
she is very happy about that. Karen, guess the race of this lady who was bit by Gail Hines, who was bit by a raccoon.
Oh, white.
Karen saying white. Let's check the chat room. It would have been funny if that police officer would have been like, listen, that's why we always on the look for these cones, okay?
Oh, no.
You see them loitering, walking down the street. You stop them, you frisk them. Bad blood, Taylor Swift white. She knew what that raccoon was capable of with that alabaster skin and that rack white. It's a white. Opposite of Gail King, white.
Oh, no.
Raccoon died a lack of seasoning white. Ankle biting white. It was like salt and pepper to taste. Ugh. Not this again.
No Larry seasoning.
Yeah.
There's like no hot sauce. Ugh.
Right. The correct answer is white. And that's old Gail right there. And they showed her leg too. It was pretty gnarly too, the bite. Let me see if I can show
probably
it.
jacked her up.
That's the raccoon. I'm looking for that peanut butter skin, and that's her leg.
Oh, it bit the hell out of her.
Yeah, I know, man. The full moon come out, she gonna turn into a raccoon, a werecoon. All right, let's go to the next one. How about this one? Karen so far is 1 of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln man arrested on 3rd DUI after driving the wrong way on 10th Street.
3rd DUI?
Yeah. He was drunkenly driving the wrong way down a one-way street. Lord O'King, 32, appeared in court Monday after being charged with his 3rd DUI and 2 traffic violations. According to an arrest affidavit, police saw O'King driving west on South Street when he turned south onto 10th Street, which is a northbound street. When they pulled him over, the smell of alcoholic beverage was emitting from the car. He gave the officer an ignition interlock permit, police said, but no ignition interlock was installed in the vehicle. So that, I think the ignition interlock is the one where you breathe
in
into
it. Yeah, and it can't start. That was like, but sir, it's not even on here, which means it would not have started if you tried to drive like this.
After a quick investigation, officers found that O'King had an active arrest warrant. They asked him to get out the car. He had a hard time balancing when he was getting out the car. He started to become belligerent. He was arrested on his warrant and escorted back to the cruiser. While walking back, he became even more belligerent. He would tense up, stop walking, and yell back to the passenger in his vehicle. Once in the cruiser, O'King...
Passenger?
Yes. Someone let him drive them down the wrong way down the street. O'King locked his leg outside the door to prevent the officer from shutting it. He eventually brought his leg inside the car, but started kicking the partition and swearing at the officer. He blew a .275.
God. That is high.
More than 3 times the legal...
0.007 or something?
0.08.
0.08, yeah.
It's more than 3 times the legal limit. Through further investigation, they found his license was revoked after his 2nd DUI in 2022. And he was not eligible to have it reinstated until May, although I doubt that's going to happen because his court date is set for May 28th. Karen, guess the race of Mr. Lord O'King.
O'King, thank you to King White.
All right. Karen says the White King. Let's see what the chat room believes. 24-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon, white, churlish, and insubordinate. Closest to royalty he'll get is his name, black. Says France Pants.
That's hilarious.
I think that might be the first time I'm seeing France Pants in the chat room. White, black folks don't get that many chances. Cooter Brown White. So everybody went white except for France Pants. He naturally 50% alcoholic Irish McWhitey. The correct answer is black.
Oh no!
Yeah, y'all missed it.
3 DUIs and lived.
That's Lord O'King right there.
Lord, I should have asked you how to spell it.
You should have. You should have.
Lord Okeng.
Yep.
Are we serious?
Of course, one person got it right. You get the golf clap. Congratulations. Oh man, that is super wild. Going the wrong way down the highway. I mean, down the wrong way down the one way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, right, people. I just assumed that, because it just didn't make no sense. I mean, 3 times. I mean, that was like.
No need to apologize. Whew. That just means you're not racist.
It went against me that time.
All right, triple the points.
What time is it?
Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the race. Triple the race. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the race. Triple the race.
All right, last one. See if Karen can get one for the road here.
Okay.
Everybody. Okay.
I'm gonna try.
See what she got cooking. Woman's journal entries lead to felony plea.
Oh, y'all better stop writing them journals.
A Minnesota woman who confessed in her personal journal that she totally stole a car today. Wait, did we do this one already?
May have.
Stole a car today? I feel like we did this. Never mind. Forget this one, guys.
Okay.
I think the free space. Fuck this one. Let's do the next one. My bad. We'll do a different one. I'm pretty sure we did that one. If not, to blame it on the head, not the heart. Or whatever. All right, let's do a different one. How about this? Florida substitute teacher arrested after video services of her inciting students to fight.
Oh.
A substitute teacher.
Did she put 5 on it? What's happening here? I
5.
got 5 on Keisha. The hell is happening here?
A substitute teacher in Florida was arrested after she allegedly incited and enabled middle school students to fight. The arrest came after a parent showed a video of the incident to school resource officers during a parent conference. Shout out to that parent for waiting. How's that not a drive back up to the school immediately? How's that we got a parents conference in February.
I'll talk to the principal then.
On April 16th, the parent of a LaBelle middle school student informed the school staff and deputies about a video of her on her child's cell phone that allegedly showed an altercation between students during the class the previous day. The video showed a student being restrained by Taisha Holmes, a substitute teacher, while another student taunted her. Both girls could be heard arguing, and Holmes is heard telling them to stop and to settle the dispute outside of school at the park. Authorities said, well, when you're a substitute teacher, I get it. Because it's like, look, your real teacher would take you to the guidance counselor. But I'm just here for a day. So y'all go and take it to the park. Authorities said Holmes also...
I ain't doing no extra paperwork.
Right. I don't want to fill that out. Authorities said Holmes also allowed one of her students in the classroom to call another classroom teacher directly to request the student seen shouting in the video to be sent to her room where this confrontation would take place. So she was like, call Miss Jones. We gonna fight in her room. Ain't nobody in there for 5th period.
Lord, poor Miss Jones. But Miss Jones was like, sure, you can use my room. Probably didn't think twice about it.
For what, y'all? Physical education?
I can guarantee you Miss Jones, because if Miss Jones would have known this, Miss Jones would have reported it herself.
Physical education, you mean PE? No, I mean physical education. Some people about to be educated physically.
Oh, no.
There was no physical contact between the students, but the actions seen on video were those of intimidation and physical threat. Holmes was found to have conspired with the students to facilitate an opportunity for a fight to occur. She was arrested on 2 counts of child neglect and 8 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. She was taken to Hendry County Jail, later released after posting $35,000 bond. I am disgusted and appalled at the behavior of this substitute teacher, Hendry County Sheriff Steve Whitten said in a statement. Schools should be safe places for children and staff. All right, Karen, guess the race of Taisha Holmes, the substitute teacher.
Black, and she might as well have been one of the students. How you gonna let the students rile you up?
Me and Mrs. Jones, black, world
That's
star,
hilarious.
black, bastard daughter of Don King, black. No word if the video was sideways or vertical, guys. I wish I could tell you. Like Mr. Garvey, she was an inner city teacher of 20 years, black. Professor Donitha King, black. Scared straight, black. Wow, all of y'all guys went black. I guess they used to call her Crazy Taisha, but now they call her Batwoman because she is black, guys. You got it right. She look like she'll let you fight.
Uh-huh.
She got a look to her. She look like she be saying stuff like, Man, these white folks ain't about to have me up in here working late. Y'all better go on and fight.
And look like if they say something crazy to her, she'll unpin her bun and whip your ass.
All right, y'all. Let's go to the final thing, sword ratchetness. Thanks for playing. I think the key to her looking so happy in that mugshot was that she be letting people fight. She like, them kids ain't gonna get on my goddamn nerves.
Let them fight.
The kids ain't about to. Kids ain't gonna drive me crazy.
They ain't about to stress me out. They ain't gonna get on my nerves today.
Right. Shit, y'all better go on in there and fight.
That's exactly what she said. Y'all better get on my face and fight. You got a problem with her, just fight her.
Right. What you talking to me for?
That's exactly what she told her. What you talking to me for?
She didn't want to call you a bitch.
Go handle your business.
Terrifying sword fight breaks out in Glasgow as mob hack into each other with huge blades. Terrifying sword fight. Oh yeah, I said it. The gut-wrenching duel involved 5 hoodlums. Is understood to have taken place at the city's Priest Hill on Friday afternoon, April 11th. Chilling footage shared with the Record shows the violence erupting in full view of homes in the south of the city as 4 males chase one another with what is believed to have been machetes. In the clip, 2 gangs can be seen confronting one another on the street before a car rapidly reverses around a corner. 2 males are then filmed chasing another pair as the blades are furiously flung in the air, causing a number of near misses. During the chaos, one of the mobsters falls to the ground. As he crashes to the floor. One of the knife-wielding thugs can be seen charging towards him. The male then jumps to his feet before fleeing and ultimately falling again. This time, an assailant manages to catch him and strikes the blade into the side of his body as he laid on the ground.
Oh!
An ally quickly moves in and jumps on top of the attacker, bringing a brief halt to the violence. But as the group splits, the assailant is filmed again chasing 2 opposing males with a sizable blade before being pursued by another male who is also wielding a knife. A lot of weapons in this.
Whole lot, ain't they?
This was, yeah. It was the Jets versus the Sharks. He then crashes to the ground before suffering a number of blows to his body. Eventually, 2 males end up scuffling on the road before one flees the estate. As he flees, he is pursued by another male in possession of a knife. A brief duel then takes place before one of the participants runs away again. As the violence ends, another man can be seen standing in the middle of the street holding the blade up in the air. Did a strike of lightning hit him and then he gained his powers?
I don't know. Did he say who else want to fuck with Hollywood Coke?
Right. Another clip shows the area taped off by police moments later. It's currently unknown if there were any injuries. Guys, there were injuries.
Lots of injuries.
Let me just help y'all out real quick.
Yeah, from what you described, all them weapons, somebody got sliced up.
Yeah, I didn't do the research, but let me tell you something, guys. It was some injuries. All right, y'all, that's it. Thanks for listening. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back Saturday for the feedback show. Premium people, we'll see you guys a few more times this week. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.